Welcome back to New Bits with Vac and Vinnie. We are so happy you are here. If this is your first time, thanks for giving us a shot. We got a great show for you. We have a special guest. Vac, this is a young comedian, and when I say young, he's real young. He started when he was 14 years old. At 16, he was featured on the Bob and Tom Show, the nationally syndicated Bob and Tom Show. He's been plugging away at comedy for he's 28 now. What's that? 14 years. He's been in the business, on the road working. Yeah, and on a side note, I don't think I've ever met a young guy in comedy who is such an encyclopedia, who lives, breathes, and sleeps comedy. This guy loves the art form and is an encyclopedia of comedy. Knows about guys going way back. A true student of the art form.
He loves it. He loves it.
And a funny dude. Yeah, he loves it. So let's just get him in here. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Carl Giannetto.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for doing this, brother. Good to see you, man.
They've been talking about this podcast. It's getting out there. People are talking about it, and I waited a long time. I got on the wait list early, and it finally happened. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I heard the CIA was talking about it, so I don't know if it's a good thing, bad thing.
Hey, they don't know nothing.
There's a lot of buzz, okay?
Well, hey, what's that old saying? Your mouth to God's ears, or whatever. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We got buzz, Vac. We got buzz.
looks like Vac got too much buzz, huh? Because of the bald. Anyway.
Boom! Nah.
Starting early.
The idea is that we work on comedy material, but we also want to be interesting to the general public to see how it works, see how we do it.
Exactly.
So, that's the idea.
The process
it's
of
a great
comedy,
idea.
And thank you. And
it's Vinny's idea.
It was our idea. We went back and forth for months. What do you think of this idea? What do you think of this idea?
Yeah. I wanted to do a podcast on porn, and Vinny was like, absolutely not.
I think, you know what? Now that I think about it, that's a better idea. That's what you should have done.
Now that's an idea.
I'm an idea guy.
You're ahead of your time.
Two guys talking about porn. Hey, man, did you see this one? Oh, that was a great one. Took me 2 days to watch that movie.
That podcast will be over in 2 minutes.
Yeah, right.
If that.
So, Carl, he says he's listened to the show a couple times. He knows what we do, Vac. Mm-hmm. We work on bits, and Carl, what have you got for us? Let's hear it.
Well, I guess before we get to a bit, I had a comedian question for you guys. How do you
had
a comedian question?
Oh, okay.
How do you guys write? Do you do longhand? Do you just talk it out on stage? Do you type it? How do you guys write? What's your process?
Go ahead, Vac.
Well, I mean, since we've been doing this podcast, I'd say most of my writing for this. But sometimes we bring an idea, and we've already got it kind of flushed out, like how we think it might go, and the other guy goes, "That sounds pretty good the way it is," So what I try to do is, but Vinny's lazy. Vinny does that. Oh, yeah, it sounds good, Back. Now let's get to my thing. But
that just means he's not listening. Yeah.
What? Get it? Okay. So what I like to do is, if I have an idea, like, okay, I brought something last week. What was it last week? The
animal shows.
Oh, the animal shows, which I kind of thought I had it, because my thought last week was, you always root for, on the nature shows, you always root for the animal that they're talking about.
Right.
So if it's the gazelle, you want to make sure the gazelle escapes from the evil lion and survives. But if they're focused on the lion and her little cubs, you want that lion to get that gazelle so you can feed her babies, right? I mean, right?
Right. Okay.
So I kind of just went through it the way it was in my mind. And Vinny was like, it sounds pretty good, a couple of tweaks, right? So that for me, if I didn't have the podcast and did bring it to Vinny, I would have tried that exactly the way I had it. Just what was so funny about it, and then write down any ideas, which I could do more of. Flesh out idea. What about the gazelle? What about the lion? What makes it so interesting? Why am I rooting for it? Is it like watching reality TV? Like there's a lot of things, but I just would write down something that struck me as interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was interesting that I went, why am I rooting for this gazelle? I have no interest in a gazelle whatsoever.
Right now I do.
Right now,
I hope they all survive, but they can't be. But
all of a sudden, if this gazelle dies, my life is going to be impacted.
Yeah, I know, why am I invested in it? Which actually, maybe I can add to that. Why do I care so much?
Yeah,
you know
what happened earlier to you? What happened to you that makes you care about this gazelle?
You know, was it just great TV?
Why do I need this gazelle in my life? I've never thought about a gazelle.
Save the gazelle fun. There's no fun I'm coming up with.
You're not doing a Sarah McLachlan commercial.
Yeah. Oh God. But anyways, to your question, Paul, was that I've always felt like I would write the idea down and ask myself questions. Why do I think that's funny? What did I see in that I thought I would just try to write it down. And I always see comedy as like more like a scene than a joke. Like my comedy, I think, is more a scene. Like I think Vinny's the same way. A lot of your material with the kids and and I just kind of try to write it out as a scene and then try to get a little pithy with it and tighten it up because I get verbose, you know. You guys know what a lion is? You know, the male lion has the big name, but the lion, you know what a lion is? They live in Africa. But that would be, when I was starting out, people were like, we know what a fucking lion is. Like, what it's the point. But I just like to write it out, but I see it in my head first. Like, I see it in my head first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I get the funny things. Like, the thing about the funeral and the procession and jumping. Like, I was seeing that all in my head.
Yeah.
Before I can think of anything that I might want to say about it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if that helps you at all, Carl, or if that's an answer.
I understand what you're saying. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Vinny, what about you?
Yeah.
What do you? What's your process?
Well, I got to tell you, Vac nailed it. Before this podcast, I would come up with an idea, and it would just mill around my head, and the majority of the writing that took place was in a car driving to a gig. And that was just me working it out in my head on stage. You know, I'm seeing myself on stage doing this bit in front of the audience. Oh yeah, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to say that, and then this. And then if it was a real complicated bit, like real wordy with a lot of alliteration and stuff, then I would write it out. You know, then I'd write it out. But now that we've been doing this podcast, I literally come up with a premise, bring it to the podcast, and and I go, hey, Vac, what do you think? He goes, oh, I think that's funny. He goes, what if you said this, or what if you did that, or what if you, blah, 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 this. And I got to tell you, one of my favorite bits that I'm doing now is the I Hate My Son bit. It's a bit about my youngest.
Yeah, I've seen that bit.
It just started with one. Yeah, I just said it on stage in front of an audience. I said, I hate this kid. The audience laughed, and I bring it to the podcast. I go, is there anything there? And Vac, and I think Danny was on at the time too. They both just, oh man, say this, say that, boom, boom. Now it's a 6.5 minute bit, Carl.
Isn't that amazing how that works? How like a small ad lib
started out with just a line.
Isn't that crazy?
With just a line.
That's what I think is good about this podcast, because an average audience doesn't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Right. They don't see that you just said that one night, and now it kills 6 minutes of your set. That would never cross.
I had to take stuff out of my set in order to fit this bit. Yeah. And I got to tell you, bro, it feels so good to get rid of old stuff and bring in new stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, that's how I do it now.
Interesting.
I'm very, very thankful for the podcast. Yeah, man.
Interesting.
So how do you do it? How do you write?
I mean, if you looked at my desk before we did this is the system that has kept me out of big work for like my whole life. I have just basic notes that I thought of. Like, I wrote this down in a mall. Why are women's clothing sizes women's, misses, plus, and then you go over to the men's section, it's just large? Why do men have one thing and there's 40 different sizes for what happens to the women's clothes that's not happening to the men's clothes?
Right. Yeah.
So I write.
Yeah. The women, what do they call it now? Because you can't fat shame. So what do they call the large women sizes? Plus or something like
plus
that?
Size.
And
plus
for men,
size.
it's just fat fuck. You know, they're so careful with the women.
There you
it's
go.
It's that.
Right.
It's plus sizes.
Yeah.
For men, it's just large and fat fuck.
Yeah.
I gave up.
For women, you got. Yeah, I gave up.
Or maybe the men's sizes just has a list of what the guy ate that day, and that's the outfit that works for that. Two slices of pizza. Yeah.
A donut. Yeah.
Lasagna, you're going to need the stretchy pants.
There you go. That's over in sports.
That's so funny. All right.
Yeah. Is that what you want? Did you want to work on that, or are you just showing us the stuff that's on your desk?
That's just kind of the process of, like, that's how I write. I write down one little thing that strikes me funny in the moment, and then sometimes I'll work it out on the pad and find what's there, or sometimes I'll just blurt it out on stage like you did with the I hate my kid bit, and it just all of a sudden becomes this thing. I have notes that I haven't touched since I was 14. That's when I started doing this. When I was 14. And there's just a note in a pile that all of a sudden will be funny to me again. And we'll bring it up on stage. And, that's where that joke is. I have jokes that I don't find the actual joke until like 10 years after I thought of it.
Well, let me tell you something, bro. You're smart for writing it down, because I know Vac will back me up on this. So many times I'm working on a bit and I'm calling a bit, and then I remember, I had that line that I just wrote down that will fit perfectly here, and
do you guys do this?
I remember one time. I'm sorry.
No,
I remember one time I came home off the road. And it's like 4:00 in the morning. So my wife's asleep, and I get into bed and I look over at my nightstand and my fan's not there, because I have a fan on my nightstand. And I go and wake up my wife. What happened? Where's my fan? And my wife goes, Junior was putting my youngest son, Junior was putting his finger in it. So I put it in the closet. I go, I need my fan, and so I'm going to bed going, I fucking hate this kid. And I go, I'm going to put the fan thing into the bed.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
So, just keep all those notes, and you'll never know when they're gonna.
Do you guys, either of you, do you ever do this? Do you ever think of something like it's 2 a.m, you're basically asleep, and you think of something and you don't write it down because you're sure you'll remember it in the morning? That's so funny. Yeah. I'll totally remember it. And then you wake up and you have no idea. Yeah, it never comes back. So it's just gone.
You're 28 years old. You haven't learned that lesson yet.
What age did I learn that?
I have
37 and a half.
I didn't learn it until I was. Yeah, exactly. I was well into my 30s when I finally said, nope, I'm tired, but I'm waking up and I'm writing that down. I have forgotten more funny shit because I was too lazy to get a pen. You know the old Mitch Hedberg joke?
Exactly.
You ever heard the old? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
I got to lie here and convince myself it's not that funny.
If the pen is too far away.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I guess for what we could work on, what do we got here? Okay, well, this is a bit that I've actually been working on since I was 16. And it's one of those bits that works kind of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where it gets a laugh, but not as much as I want. And
you think it deserves more?
Yeah, and I know, and because it gets enough of a laugh that I can't throw it away. But it's about, okay, so it's a bit about, I've wrecked my car twice. I've been in 2 car wrecks. Both of them were minor. Nobody got hurt. Everything was fine. And everyone in my life criticizes my driving anyway. So no matter what, I can't win. You're too fast. You're too slow. Slow to catch up. Speed up. So they make all of my mistakes a bigger deal than it was. My first wreck, I was 16, and I slightly scraped the side of a pickup truck. And everything was fine except for a little scratch on the guy's trim. And I ended up with a $100 ticket for failure to maintain control, which is bullshit because I was in total control. I was aiming. My second wreck, my car hit a patch of ice. I skidded out. My car went up on the curb and I had to be towed. So they were minor wrecks, a scratch and a tow. But everyone in my life said that I was probably distracted and driving too fast. So that's why these wrecks happened. They assumed I was texting or speeding, which isn't fair because I wasn't. I was drunk.
That's nice. That's nice.
So that yeah. I have been tweaking that on and off since I was 16, and that is the most recent wordy version of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny. It's got a nice little payoff there. I wasn't. I was drunk.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
Now, when you first said I've been in 2 car wrecks, my first thought was you totaled your cars out.
Yeah.
To me, a car wreck is you wrecked it. I don't know if that's
so. Maybe
a car.
Maybe
accident.
that's it. That might. Maybe that's the direction it needs to be in. Making fun of the fact that most people get in a car wreck, they totaled their car.
Yeah.
I get in a car wreck, and it's maybe that's another direction to take it.
Oh yeah, to me that's more of like a fender bender. I would say I was in a 1 fender bender where it was a tap.
Maybe that's what it is.
Or maybe I'm not trying to get too deep into it because I don't know if it needs that. But
no. That's Vac. That's a great point.
It is a good point.
You say car wreck. Do you say car wreck? Carl, when you do the bit, you say car. I wrecked my car twice.
Yes, I've been in 2 car wrecks.
That might be where the audience is going immediately. That's a very good point. Yeah, fender bender might be a way to fix that.
That could be the whole problem.
But the hitting the ice wasn't a fender bender. I'm trying to think. What would you say if I had 2 incidents with my car? Even just say nothing major, but my friend, people make fun of the way I drive, but I've only had 2 incidents with only 2, nothing major. Minor things. The first one,
minor.
Yeah, that's
because they really
incident. That's a good word. Incident. That's a good word.
Yeah, 2 incidents, nothing major. You can go into that. Your friends and family make fun of the way you drive. Speed up, slow down. I think I'm a good driver. I think I'm a good driver. Okay, I've had 2 incidents. One, the thing with the pickup truck. What do they say? I lost control or something.
I got a $100 ticket for failure to maintain control.
Which
was bullshit.
Which is bullshit because I was actually aiming. All right. By the way, that doesn't hold up in court. By the way, that doesn't hold up. I was actually aiming.
I really like that.
By the way,
doesn't hold up in court.
By the way, what? Oh, okay, yeah. By the
That's
way,
funny.
It doesn't hold up in
I
court.
like that line a lot.
And then you do. And the next time was what if you were to say, I hit a patch of ice, the car spun, and I hit a curb. And I hit a patch of ice, the car spun out. I don't know if I wanted you to say hit a curb. And I got a ticket, which is bullshit. I didn't know you couldn't drive in the ice rink. Or they gave me a ticket. The car spun. I hit a tree.
There's no sign outside the ice rink that says no driving. There's no.
I mean, they got the Zamboni. All right. I thought I could.
You drive through one hockey game and everybody loses their mind.
Everybody loses their fucking mind. Maybe that's kind of it. And boom! I hit a patch of ice. The car spun out. Well, don't say I hit a patch of ice. The car spun out, and I hit a tree. All right. I'm thinking maybe instead of ice rink, which is good, maybe you could say a pond. You were driving across a pond. Maybe ice rink is better.
I can do it. Yeah.
I don't know what the pond was doing in the middle of the highway anyway.
They said,
spun out. Right.
Yeah, the cop was like, "What are you doing driving on a pond?" I'm like, "Officer, I know it's a pond. I'm drunk."
That's a good angle. I like that angle.
The cop was like,
"That's a good way."
I know it was a pond. I'm drunk.
Which also, by the way,
we're lucky I can even drive a car.
What's that?
We're lucky I can even hold the steering wheel, officer. I'm drunk.
Yeah. Officer, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
Maybe you could say I hit a patch of ice, spun out, and I hit a tree. Cop showed up. Was like, I don't care. You whatever. Maybe it was fair. Whatever the ticket could be. It could. The cop says, "What are you doing driving on a pond?" I'm like, "Officer, I didn't know it was a pond. I was drunk." He said, "Yeah, then you hit that beautiful tree." But I avoided the house. I mean, there was a lake house. Do I get credit for anything?
I did. Don't I get credit for anything? I like that a lot.
I could hit the house. I hit the tree.
We're lucky. We're lucky I picked the right car.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, this just popped into my head real quick. If you want to go go another way. The other time I was driving, I hit a patch of ice, spun out, and hit a goalie. I
hit the goalie
because I hit a goalie. What are you guys doing playing hockey in the middle of the street? What are you doing in this ice rink? Right? What are you doing? Oh, skating rink. What are you doing in this skating rink?
I hit the goalie, which is the closest, which is the best. Let's see, what would the angle be? I hit the goalie, which is the most athleticism I've showed in years.
Yeah.
I hit the goalie.
My first instinct was to say, and I hit a forward, but more that a lot of people won't associate that with hockey,
right?
You know what I'm saying,
right?
Or a right winger.
Yeah, no, goalie's the way to go.
Yeah, goalie's the way to go.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go that way, I mean, you guys were riffing with the other thing real good. Is this another?
But it's you want to make the wording as concise as possible without losing, without the joke is you're on an ice rink.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Who put the ice rink here? I mean, I spun out. I hit the goalie.
I hit a patch of ice, and I mean, I'm trying not to say the word hit twice. The other time I was driving, I hit a patch of ice and nailed a goalie. Everybody's pissed. What do you? And I'm like, what is?
Oh boy, hockey players get very upset when you drive across the rink.
what are you guys doing playing hockey in the middle of the street? What are you doing in our hockey game, or what are you doing in an ice rink? I don't know. Yeah, just another way to go.
So you would either have to go
We're lucky I got in the
pond. Either go ice rink or pond, because it's kind of, the same premise.
Yeah.
So were you? I mean, the ice rink is just so out there that you got the car into the ice rink and had no idea.
Yeah, and pay. Maybe here's another angle. I had to pay a cover charge to get my car. I bought a ticket. They charged me $8 to get in here. You guys are in the way. I'm drunk. What do you do?
You had to pay $8 and finish watching the game. You had to finish watching the game.
The cop that pulled me over, he was in my way. I tried to watch the end of the game. They said we had to go downtown. The game's almost over.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. It wasn't a cop. It was a ref.
The
ref's blowing the whistle in my ears. I got a headache. I'm drunk.
Okay, so the ref's blow.
And I got 2 minutes for speeding.
I got 2 minutes. I got 2 minutes. For,
That's good.
I got 2 minutes for vehicular. What's an actual call in hockey? Vehicular checking. Vehicular checking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't know I was checking. I'm drunk. Just the fact that you're using being drunk as legitimate excuse is.
You try walking on ice when you're drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now try driving.
Now try driving.
Yeah. See that, dude. If you go with the I hit a patch of ice and nailed a goalie. Blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the ref pulled you over. You were for body check for vehicular checking.
There's a lot of angles.
You can do there's just like boom, boom, boom. Hockey reference.
A lot of tags.
If you want to go that route. Yeah, a lot of tags.
Now I got some guy's stick stuck in my spokes, and I got to pay for that too.
You got $8. You had to pay an $8 cover and finish watching the game before they let you have your car back, and you got 2 minutes for vehicular checking. Yeah.
And I bought one of those ice creams in the helmet, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Yep.
The fans loved it.
Yeah, there's some stuff. That's a good angle.
Yeah.
The fans thought it was part of the show. They're waiting. They booked me again next week.
I'm booked.
Yeah,
they
booked doing the halftime show next week. Yeah, doing the halftime show next week.
That's funny.
Intermission. The intermission when it's hockey. Say intermission. I'm doing the first intermission next week. First intermission next week. Hey, dude, I came up. I thought of this real quick. Have you been driving since you were 16?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you say just something to throw in there to give everybody an idea that you're talking about, minor incidents. I think that's your key phrase here for this bit. Minor incident. Yeah, but the other thing is going. I've been driving since I'm 16. 28 now. Those are pretty good odds. 2 minor incidents.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, those are pretty good odds. Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah. My car is still in working order. You know what I'm saying?
I put gas in it. I changed the oil. We're lucky I made it here.
Yes.
I like that. Those are pretty good odds.
Those are pretty good. Because you were going on about how all your friends, talk about, hey, they always complain about your driving. You're like, hey, I've been driving for 12 years, okay? 2 minor incidents. Those are great odds. Those are great odds.
In the right crowd, I've been driving for 12 years, will get a laugh. Because everybody else in the room, everyone else in the room has been driving for probably, because I'm usually younger than everybody else in the room when I'm doing a set. Everybody else in the room has probably been driving for 30. So I've been driving for 12 years? That might get a laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been driving.
See, that's a good point, dude. That's a good point. You can go, I've been driving for 12 years. 2 minor incidents. Those are pretty good odds.
You're going to tell me I don't know what I'm doing? 12 years?
You go to the audience. You go, right? right?
Right.
2 accidents.
Right.
They were 6 years apart, right?
Or maybe the joke, go ahead.
I was going to say, I like the whole thing about the ref giving you a penalty.
Yeah.
What if the same cop who gave you the ticket the first time was watching the game and comes down and goes something along the lines of, the cop says, "What are you doing driving on an ice rink?" You're like, "How many times do I have to tell you I'm drunk?" Like, what is wrong with you, officer?
We've been over this. We've been over this, officer. What are you following me, for Christ's sakes? Officer, you're 48. I'm 16. It doesn't look good.
Yeah. I have Vac, this just popped into my head when you said that. It's just another opportunity to do another little hockey reference. You go, what are you doing on the skating rink? I'm chasing the ice cream truck. That's the Zamboni.
I like that.
That's a Zamboni.
I like that. I like that.
I'm drunk.
Zamboni, man.
I'm
drunk. I want an ice cream. I'm drunk. I want an ice cream. I'm chasing
This isn't even my car.
Yeah, smart.
I just think the idea that you think it's okay to fuck up when you're driving because you're drunk is funny.
Right, exactly.
When you're sober,
I
you're
agree.
Great,
I agree.
But the fact that you're drunk, and that's your excuse, by the way, also does not hold up in court.
I like that tag. Doesn't hold up in court a lot. And I also think what you said earlier, the phrase wreck trips people up. They picture carnage. And
I did too, bro.
Yeah.
That's right where my head went. Yeah.
That could be the whole problem with the bit is the word wreck.
Yeah. I think
like
your
that.
key is minor incidents, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Two minor incidents.
And I need to really overdo it on how the fact that's 2. So I think you're right.
Just 2 minor incidents. Yeah.
12 years, 2 minor incidents.
And then you boom, boom, boom. You got these jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I have one other bit.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, wait, before we go to your other bit, dude, can I say this one thing here about the thing when the punchline was when I was drunk, and I don't know if this is anything. I just wrote it down. So people say I'm no good at driving drunk.
Maybe
I was just in 2 minor.
Maybe that's maybe that's the angle. Maybe it needs to be
afterward.
Yeah.
Turns out I'm an okay driver. I'm a shitty drunk driver. I don't cause any carnage.
That could be the, or maybe it's like, maybe you need to flip it on, like, you get defensive where you're like, nobody's good driving drunk.
Yeah.
How many beers can you have and then still tell me you've never driven through a hockey rink, sir? Come on.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Really, sir? Even when you're drunk? You expect me to believe that? Like, sir. Like the whole thing.
Yeah. It's Wisconsin, sir.
Truly believing that it's okay to do that because you're drunk.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
Sir.
I do too. Yeah. I like that. I like that twist.
Yeah.
And then you get really defensive. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool, brother. Cool.
So here's one bit. I thought of this joke today. Okay. I thought of this today. It's just a simple setup punchline joke. My girlfriend is a teacher, and the best part of that is when she's sick, I get a substitute. Is there anything there?
Okay. My first thought,
when she's sick, I get a substitute.
Okay. I used to teach and I used to substitute teach. My first thought when you said that was, I get a substitute. That sounds great until you see who the substitute is.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? Who is the substitute?
That's great.
Like, Like,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
sounds good.
Actually said to her,
I like that.
"Oh, honey, if you get sick, do I get a substitute for a few days?" She's like, "Yeah, sure. I don't care." Great.
Yeah.
Until the substitute showed up, and it was Mr.
I like
Mr.
that.
Archibald, the former shop teacher who's missing a finger. All right, let's go.
He's walking around like Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's missing a couple fingers.
Yeah.
Anybody can
So
substitute
good.
now.
So where we going? Olive Garden? Where we going?
Which sounds great until you meet the substitute. I like that. That's funny.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And she's
That's
like, "Yeah,
funny.
sure, I don't care."
Mr. Archibald from Shop shows up. With the one with the missing two fingers.
Shows up looking like Gene Simmons.
That's funny, Vac. Okay. Yeah. Oh, look, I got it, Carl. He shows up looking like Gene Simmons. What are you going to do with those?
Where are you planning on putting those, sir? I like that.
There you go.
I like that.
I can't think of anything.
I can't ever get her to do that.
No.
Yeah.
What if you come up with a shop term? Like, I don't know any, but we're going to use the triple drill bit lathe. Get ready. Like, something shoppy that he says. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
The router.
There you go. The Roto-Rooter or something. Yeah.
Well, he asked for it.
The Sawzall.
The Sawzall.
Yeah.
Well, they use the Sawzall. And there's got to be, I don't look up tool terms, different kinds of tools that would be funny sound. Like Sawzall sounds funny. You don't even have to know what it is to know. Right? It doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when my girlfriend's sick, I get a substitute, which sounds good till you meet the substitute, and he ends up being Mr. Archibald from Shop, who thinks you're a DeWalt.
Yeah.
Comes out looking like Gene Simmons missing two fingers.
Gene Simmons.
He shows up. Yeah. He shows up like this. What are you going to do with those?
Ready to get to work?
And how much are you going to charge me?
What if you? What if you then? I'd love to see you call back being drunk. Like if you. Like,
okay.
Listen, Mr. Archibald.
Yeah.
I guess I asked for this, but I can't do this. I got to get drunk first. So I don't know what. So.
Yeah, I like that. You give me enough Sambuca, I'll try anything once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sniff enough wood.
I was actually. Yeah. I was actually once you brought that up, Vac, I was going the other way, but you'd have to there have to be a way to call back the drunk. And I was going to go, the substitute. This obviously is a situation where you do not want to be drunk with Mr. Archibald and his two fingers. You know what I'm saying? So I was just wondering how, with Mr. Archibald, his two fingers and his Sawzall, Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
So when my girlfriend gets sick, not only do I get a substitute, I get sober. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And
so, I don't know,
and Mr. Archibald built me an end table, so that's nice.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. He built me an end table. All right.
Yeah.
If you want his number, we'll talk afterwards. I'll get you.
But either way, Carl, bringing back the drunk is a great idea for this.
Yeah, I like that.
Calling back the drunk is a good idea, whichever way you go with it.
I like that.
That's a smart way to do it. Yeah.
Well, I literally wrote that down today, like 2 hours before we started doing this, and this is what I like about this podcast. No, she's not. But I was. Let's see. What was I gonna? How am I gonna make that funny? What I was gonna say. Now I can't make. I tried to make it funny. What I was gonna try to come up with a boy, I wish she was kind of joke, but it doesn't really work. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it, but it's funny. It's funny how your brain just it comes up with stuff like I mean, I had a funeral recently, and a buddy of mine said something as we were walking into the funeral, and it boom, all these jokes just started coming into my head. It's weird how jokes are born like that. So I was just curious if she was sick.
That's a good question to ask you guys. Do you find that you think of more jokes when you're not trying to think of jokes?
Yes.
Yeah, I tend to notice things.
Sometimes.
Like the weirdest. It's always the weirdest times where you come up with the best idea, and sometimes in the moment you think that'll never work. That I'm the only person in the world that thinks that's funny. And then you take it on stage that night and you're like, oh, maybe I picked the right career path. This seems like a good idea for me.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the times, dude, I mean, if I sit down and go, I'm going to write jokes, that doesn't work.
Right. I agree.
It has never worked. I have to start with something. I have to start with some kind of premise or some kind of. I'll give you guys a joke that I came up with recently. Really, we don't have to work on it or anything, but it's just an example of that. I was watching a TikTok video, and it was somebody explaining why how they know that God is non-binary. And they're like giving all these reasons why God's non-binary. God's non-binary. And here's where my head went when I go, well, that completely explains why my life is a complete dumpster fire. Turns out I've been misgendering him, or I've been misgendering them my entire life. Call me he again. Call me he. Say goodbye to your transmission, dickhead.
I like that. I like that. Transmission is a good line too.
Yeah. And literally, I'm watching this video, and I'm going, and that just popped into my head. I go, well, if that was true, that would explain why I'm struggling. I've been misgendering.
That's great.
Our Father who art in heaven. He's like,
our non-cisgender who art in San Francisco.
Yeah. Our parental unit who art in heaven, hallowed be thy. Oh, that's okay. Thy's okay.
Yeah. Oh.
So I got to start. With. And by the way, I've never done that on stage, and I was planning on doing it. I got a show Tuesday night. I was planning on doing it. I was gonna try to tape it, just to,
put it out there.
Now that I put it out there on this podcast, I have to.
Right.
I have to. Yeah, I got to tape it.
Yeah.
But see something like that, it's scary to do because you don't know who's in the audience and what they believe and what their touchy points are and all that stuff. But I see no victim in victim in that joke.
No.
There's none,
I agree. I agree.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
At first, see the whole point. At first, the whole point is for people to go, "Hey, wait a minute."
Yeah, they're going to get uncomfortable. Yeah,
and then you just let them off the hook. Yeah,
I think you can get away with that. Sorry, I didn't mean to take all that. You can get away with that joke. Yeah.
Hey, man, you said you have a show this weekend, Carl. You think you can? You want to tape those a version of those bits and bring them back to the podcast?
Absolutely, I will absolutely do that.
That would be real cool, man.
I will do that.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to take up so much time with answering that question, but
no,
in the process of answering that question, I thought of a way I came up with a joke.
Right.
And
it's always at the weirdest times when you think of stuff. You never.
I never sit down and go, I'm gonna write jokes. It never happens. It never works for me.
Do you guys think people who aren't comedians are constantly thinking of jokes and they don't realize that's what they're thinking of?
I was before I stepped on stage. I would torture my friends with dumb shit that I thought of until they finally, said, "Hey man, you should go do that." And you go, "Hey man, you ever notice blah blah blah?" Blah. Hey man, isn't it weird when people blah blah blah? And
That's weird.
And they go, yeah. So I wouldn't. I know I'm not the only one.
No, right.
So
don't most of your. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't your friends that since they know you're a comedian, don't they send you shit all the time? Hey man, this is kind of funny. I thought of this.
If I had friends, they probably would. My grandpa used to send me stuff all the time. My grandfather used to. He would send me a thing. He would say like, "Hey, I thought of this great joke," and he would explain the premise. And then after it made no sense, he would go, "But you'd have to make it funny." Thanks, Grandpa. I appreciate that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate that. A lot of help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't make it easy on me.
I'm struggling with premises. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. See, buddy, in my opinion, that right there is funny as hell. That's a
really?
bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, talking about your grandpa who sent you jokes and they weren't jokes, and he goes, "You got to make them funny." Thanks, Grandpa.
Do you think an audience would understand that?
Dude, hold a second. And then do one of the things that he sent you, and the fact that it's not funny because you prepared them for it to be not funny is got to be funny.
Dude, I got a stack of them. I got a stack of papers in his handwriting in my desk somewhere that are just nonsensical.
Dude, you can sit there for 5 minutes and reading unfunny premises, and they're going to be laughing their asses off. What do you think, Beck?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Don't you think?
Okay.
Don't you think that I don't know. Listen, Carl. I may be crazy, but I just in my head I see you introducing it. My grandfather tries to send me jokes, but they're not jokes. And he goes, you make them funny. Yeah, thanks, Grandpa.
Thanks for the help.
Yeah. Thanks for the help, man. I don't know. To me, yeah.
You guys think I should try that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know, dude. I see that. You don't have. Yeah. I mean, hey, I don't know. When you said that to me, my grandpa used to send me jokes that weren't jokes. You got to make them funny. That struck me as funny.
Okay,
that's a bit.
I'm not a comedian.
Well,
you make it funny.
I'm not a comedian.
That's the angle. What am I, a comedian?
That's it.
That's the angle right there. What do you think? What am I, some kind of funny guy?
What does your grandfather do? What did he do?
He was a fireman. Yeah. He did a bunch of different stuff.
I'm a fireman.
I'm
not a comedian. I'm a fireman.
Even funnier, I'm retired. I'm not working anymore. What are you bothering me for?
What are you bothering me for, right? You're the comedian. You want a fire put out, you call me, okay?
I like that.
Yeah. All right, brother.
I'll try that.
This was good. Man, absolutely.
Like
this was good, man. I think you got some funny stuff there, Carl.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And that's all shit I haven't even worked on. So that's great. That's all new shit. So that's
cool,
perfect.
Well, hey, dude, if you get an opportunity to film it on this weekend, and want to bring it back to the podcast, Fly or Die, that's great, brother. We'd love to see it. We'll do a video review. We'll do a.
Even if you try one of them, even if you try one of them, just let's see how it goes.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'll do that. I will do that.
Both. Yeah. And I'm gonna. I mean, my plan wasn't to bring that bit to the podcast, but you guys, while we were talking about ways to come up with bits, it just popped into my head. And I said, well, let me throw it out there. Mm-hmm. Well, now I'm definitely going to do it on stage, and I will bring it back here.
You screwed yourself, Vinnie. You screwed yourself.
I screwed myself, but that's okay. That's okay. the people who listen to this podcast have heard me die on stage before. So it's okay. It's okay.
Let's be honest, Vinny.
That's
We've all heard you die on stage before. Let's be honest.
Of course you have. I've been at this a while. So, yeah, man. But we wanted people to see the process, and that's the way it goes.
This is what it is. This is the people that watch this that aren't comedians. This is exactly what it is. This is you throw even if you're writing by yourself, you throw shit at the wall, you see if it sticks. That's all you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's all you can do. And you tweak, make it better. Right. Find out what's wrong, or you throw it out.
You can't know if it's good until you take it up on stage and embarrass the hell out of yourself.
That's right.
You say that all the time.
You can't.
Vac says that. We say that all the time. You will never know if it's funny until you see it in front of an audience. That's just the way it goes.
Yep.
Carl, thank you so much for doing this, man. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Anytime, Vinny. Anytime.
Absolutely. Carl, tell them how they can find you online.
Well, the best
your social media.
The best place to find me, I put most of my stuff up on Facebook at comedian Carl Giannetto. It's one of them Italian names. It's CarlGiannetto. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff, all in the same spot. Exactly. I got the Italian flag pin there, representing.
Forget about it.
Yes.
Forget about it.
Yeah, I'm also. I got a link tree. I don't have a website, but all my stuff is on a link tree at comedian Carl Giannetto. Just follow me. I'm out there. I'm doing stuff. Doing a lot of road gigs right now. I try to put stuff online. I need to be better about it, but so
do we.
I'm out there.
If please follow Carl on all the social media. We will do our usual credit reel at the end, and you'll see all those links there.
Absolutely.
If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do. It really helps our visibility, and leave us a review. That will just make us happy.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Vac.
Pleasure,
Thank you so much, Carl.
Thanks,
Vac.
Carl. Thanks, Vinny.
Very nice to meet you, Vac.
Good to meet you, Carl.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Good stuff,
See you
Vac.
guys.
Bye, Carl. Thanks.
See you guys online.